Make Sense with Your Money radio show. My name is Cynthia Hurley and I am your host. I'm not sure if you are aware, but May kicks off Small Business Month. So you'll see a lot of things going on for the month of May regarding the small businesses and how you scale your small business and the resources that are available for small businesses. So that's why on today's show, we are going to be talking about the nonprofit. Can a nonprofit own a for profit, or can a for profit own a nonprofit? I need you to grab a paper, grab your pen, call a friend, and tune on in because this is something that maybe you may not be able to benefit from, but maybe you may know somebody. Let's get into it. So, can a nonprofit own a for profit? Or can a for profit own a nonprofit? Let's clear this up right now. Let's clear it up. Because you see, a lot of people, they do things because other people are doing things and they don't really vet the information that they get, and they just do things, just because. But we need to vet information to make sure you're doing the right thing. All right. First of all, before we even get started, let's just differentiate what is the difference between a nonprofit organization and a for-profit organization. Okay. A nonprofit organization is now I'm not going to get into all of the legal terms. I'm going to give it to you straight. Okay. Like if we sit down having a cup of coffee so that you can better understand what I'm saying. A nonprofit organization is an organization, right, that is not in the business for making a profit. Did you hear what I just said? Nonprofit organizations is not in the business for making a profit. Okay. A nonprofit organization is an organization that is in business for the good of the people, which means it may be something that's scientific, something that's charitable, charitable purposes. You are starting this organization because you want to give back to the community, or you want to, champion a certain cause. All right. Prime example. I am the founder of Houses of Malachi. Houses of Malachi is a nonprofit organization. What is the purpose of Houses of Malachi? Okay. The purpose is that we work with women with co-occurring disorders. Co-occurring meaning they have suffered from mental illness and drug addiction. All right. We help them physically and mentally and spiritually, and also physically. Yes, we do. All right. We house them and we basically bring them from despair to hope. Okay. And introduce them to Jesus Christ. That's the main thing. All right. And I'm happy to say that organization that God founded, because I'm not taking no credit, has really impacted and changed the lives of many women. So a nonprofit, so that was just to give you an example of what a nonprofit organization is. It's not for the benefit of the CEO or the owner. Matter of fact, to be technical, which I'm gonna get into it right after this, you are not the owner of a nonprofit organization. A nonprofit organization does not have shares. So, guess what that means, people? It means that there is no owner. Let me say it again. There is no owner. You do not own your nonprofit organization. Guess who owns it? Whatever state you in, that's who owns it. State of New York, whatever state. The state owns the nonprofit, not you. This may be a shock to a lot of people, and maybe some people may not have told you, but I'm here to tell you the truth. All right. Or to shed some light on it so we know exactly what it is that we're dealing with, so that when you come up with these different ideas and suggestions, and you'll know exactly what it is that you're dealing with. So there's no owner. Matter of fact, there's a clause in every nonprofit organization that says, God forbid something happens to the owner, well, the founder, okay, that this organization, which is your nonprofit organization, it has to be transferred. The assets has to be given to another nonprofit organization, or it has to be what is it? Dissoluted. I think that's the name. I'm trying to look for the word, but anyway, you can dismantle what you. It's not yours, and there's a certain clause. And it's interesting. I don't even have it in my notes. I'm trying to think because I really want to. You can look it up, but just Google it. Everybody else Google everything. All you got to do is Google it. The nonprofit does not belong to you. And that clause goes in that third paragraph as you are creating that document. And it basically states that you know that. You have to know that even before you create it. That, God forbid something happens to the person who found it, that you know that it has to be either you set it up for it to pass on to your, somebody that you want to run it, or you can also donate it to another charity. It is a charity. So that means that it is put in place for the need of others, for the support of others. Okay. With a nonprofit organization, you do not make a profit. That's why it's called non-profit. Now, as a director or the CEO of that nonprofit, you are allowed to make a salary. You're allowed to earn a salary, I may add. But it's not for profit. You understand? So that's why when you are, you have a nonprofit organization, you have to be very careful. You have to keep your paperwork in order. You cannot be commingling and doing all of that fugazi nonsense. No, you got to do what's right. All right. So now that we've talked about what a nonprofit is, let's look at the for-profit. So a nonprofit is just that. It is a nonprofit organization. A for-profit is an LLC, an S Corp, and a C Corp. A sole proprietor is not a company. All right, that's just you yourself. All right. So in a for-profit, they have what's called shares. That's why when you get a for-profit, you probably, I don't know if you know this because you probably don't do your own paperwork, but you see that you have those shares. That means that there's ownership. That constitutes ownership. All right. But with a nonprofit, there's none of that. None of that. Both do have board of directors. But the for-profit has shares, and that constitutes ownership. Now, $1 million question. You have some people who ask the question, can a for-profit, right? Like make sense with your money. That's the name of my for-profit. Can my for-profit own my nonprofit, Houses of Malachi? No. No one can own, no company can own for a nonprofit because a nonprofit is owned by the state. So, no, you can't own it. It's owned by whatever state you're in. Just remember that, okay? Can a nonprofit own a for-profit? Yes. Yes, you can. But you have to be careful on how you set that up. And I don't have time to get into all of that on this show. But because the nonprofit owns the for-profit, what happens when that for-profit, you want to, I don't know, sell it or, maybe disconnect it? I don't know if you can do all of that, because remember, the nonprofit is not owned by you. The nonprofit is owned by the state. So now that the nonprofit owns a company, mm-hmm, your company, that ties it right in. So that means that the company is not yours either. So there are other ways that can be set up. You understand? So that you don't get yourself in a foothold by linking that for-profit to that nonprofit. And once you do that, baby, it's hard to get out of that thing. It's hard to get out. There's a strategic way that you have to set that up. And in order for you to know that, you need to set up a consultation. That's gonna take up too much of my time to really explain that. All right. But anyway, it's important that you know what type of structures that you're dealing with. And it's also important to know what you can and cannot do, right? So what is the reason that you would want to set up a nonprofit, or have your nonprofit own a for-profit? What is the reason? One of the reasons may be is that, see, with a nonprofit, the income comes from grants, right? It also comes from donations, and it also can come from member fees. So this is how a nonprofit is supported, all right? So it is supported by the public. And that's why a lot of nonprofits don't survive. That's why a lot of them are struggling. I mean, they are really struggling, because they don't know how to, first of all, get the funding. They don't set themselves up. They don't promote themselves. They're not engaging to let people know exactly what they're out there doing. And not that I'm trying to promote my course, but I do have a course. And it's called, what is the course called? But anyway, I think it's called How to Scale Your Nonprofit, the 12 Steps to Scaling Your Nonprofit. And it basically goes over what it is that you need to do from the gate in order to get your nonprofit in the faces, in the ears, in the eyes of those who need to see it, where you can get the funding that you need. Because if you're not gonna get the funding you need, I mean, what was the sense of even creating it? And it is a worthy cause. I mean, it's something that actually it gives you a sense of, like, the purpose. It's something about the human being that they just love to give back and help, and it get a sense of gratification. And some of them have that servitude, but you do it sometimes and you don't really what's the word I'm looking for? You end up using a lot of your own resources, which is what I did. I did the same thing. But there are other routes that you can take. You just don't know them. And if you go to my website and you go into the Superhero Academy, you'll see a course there. And I think you need to check it out. But anyway, a nonprofit is supported by donations and grants and member fees. Okay, that's how it is supported. For-profit is supported by the income that it generates. So how if a nonprofit owns a for-profit, that will be one of the ways that it can help the nonprofit, because the for-profit is generating income to help that nonprofit go. Now, I don't know if I would advise that. There's a way around it, but that can be the benefit in helping that to go. And another thing it would also do is, what's the word I'm looking for? Some people, sometimes they can be skeptical as to donate funds to a nonprofit. But if they see that, there's an extension arm to it that is helping to promote the nonprofit, basically, and dumping money into the nonprofit to support it so that it can be a resource to the community. That's another way where people are more apt to give as well, because nonprofits really, really need the support. of the people, the members, all of these different foundations. I mean, just need help. All right. I wanted to basically also, um, how can you basically set this up? All right. So basically, if your nonprofit organization wanted to do it, all right, the one thing that you want to do is you would start off by um, setting up the nonprofit. Now, I want to say this as well. I want to say something. I'll make a point here. When you start a nonprofit, there's a second part to it. When you start a nonprofit, you're not immediately considered a tax exempt. You have to file for the status of a tax exempt, which would make you become a 501c3. How do you do that? Well, there is a separate application that you have to file with the IRS. And basically, it gives you the tax exempt status, meaning that you are not legally, you know, you don't have to pay any taxes on anything. But until you file that status, you do have to pay your taxes. It is only when you, first of all, you establish the nonprofit organization. After you do that, now you have to fill out what's called the 1023 form. That is what gives you your tax exempt status. You do not get your tax exempt status right away. You get your tax exempt status once the application, you get the approval back from the IRS. Okay. I mean, it could take up, which depends on which one you do. If you do the long form, all right, that's going to take about 7, 8 months to get an answer. And if you do the short form, it'll take you about maybe 30 to 60 days to get an answer. Okay. What is the difference? The short form is for those nonprofit organizations that they know that they're not going to make over $50,000 in the next 3 years. If you can guarantee that your nonprofit organization, which nobody can, is going to make over $50,000 within the next 3 years, then they advise you to do the long form. Okay. Churches, they advise you to do the long form. Okay. But anyway, so I just wanted to get that. I wanted to get that also so you can get a better understanding of what it is that, whether you considering doing a nonprofit or you considering doing a for-profit. What you may want to do is, let the two organizations part, the company part with the nonprofit partner with the for-profit. There may be a better way to do that. Okay. So if you want to set up something like that, the first thing you need to do is you need to talk to somebody, a professional, right, such as an attorney or myself, all right, because the paperwork has to be tight and it has to be right and the structure has to be right, because you want to make sure you're not getting in trouble and you ain't shooting yourself in the foot. Your mission has to be defined, because you got two things going on here. All right. You also want to your documents, like your operational documents, to separate the two. That language is very, very important. Okay, because anytime that I have heard countless stories, hear me now, of people who have started their nonprofit organizations only to get kicked off the board when the company began to get prosperous. Can you believe that? I'm telling you the truth. That's true, y'all. That's true. That's true. I have seen it happen. Well, I have not seen it, but I've heard it happen where people who have started their organizations, and because they didn't put the right language, you got to put the right language in your document so that you cannot be moved. Do you understand? You cannot be moved because you are the founder. And if you don't set it up right, you in trouble. You may want to give me a call about that one. We may need to talk about that one to make sure that your paperwork is set up correctly. All right. That way you position yourself on the board a certain way and you stay there. Okay. But anyway, so the paperwork has to be right. And there's a way that you can do a for-profit that has to be right as well. But in terms of doing it as an ownership thing, nah, because you don't want that nonprofit owning that for-profit. It's like you giving it away to the state, and I don't know if you want to do that. All right. Um, so before I close out, all right, I want to talk to you about, and let me tell you, if you have any questions, you can email my office, support@makesensewithyourmoney.com with your questions, because this is a serious topic, okay? And yeah, and it's a very serious topic. And you know, before you move forward and do some of the things, I don't know what your plans are, you want to make sure that you have the right information. But I am the president of the Christian Chamber of Commerce, and we are the Worldwide Association of um, Small Churches, the Christian Chamber of Commerce, um, the Afro Latina Chamber of Commerce, the Guatemala Chamber of Commerce, and also the State Chamber of Commerce is hosting, all right, a 2024 Empowering Your Business. So basically, what is taking place is that we are going to be down at the City University coming this Friday. This Friday is going to be what we are doing. We're helping to promote the small business, grow the small business, helping them to scale in what they're doing. So we're going to be teaching them how to get certified. Okay. We're going to be teaching them how to get certified. We're going to have the Small Business Association there. We're going to have all of the chambers there. We're going to have the certification. I mean, listen, WBLS is going to be in the house. So if you can, it will behoove you not to come, and it's free. All you have to do is register. Okay. If you want to register, what you can do is you can email me. All right. To register, you can email Worldwide Chaplains. The information is on the bottom of the screen, but you can basically, I think it's Worldwide Chaplains. Let me make sure I got it right, because I don't want to, let me see. You can email, I want to make sure I give you the right information. You want to, it's Worldwide Chaplains at gmail.com. Worldwide Chaplain, spelled out with an S, at gmail.com. Okay, if you want to register, all you got to do is email your name. If you want to attend, you can call as well. Okay, you can call me. My area code is 646-945-4998. All right, that's my number. Or you can also call 917-370-7850. All right, so you can get the information. The time is going to be from 1 to 4, 1 to 5. But there's going to be a lot of opportunities for small business, right? We're going to be giving free credit counseling. We're going to give information on how you can become certified, and what is the process. We're going to have the Small Business Administration on the premises, where you can apply right then and there. So this is something that you would definitely want to take part of, or come and see how you can benefit your business, because it's all about you. And that's what we're doing to kick off the month of May to help the small business. Okay. Like I said, you can email us or you can call. You have to register. All right. I would advise you to make sure that you register, so that you can be in the house. All right. That is going to conclude our show. Again, you can do a nonprofit can own, no, a nonprofit can own a for-profit. A for-profit cannot own a nonprofit. Is it wise for a for-profit? Is it wise for a nonprofit to own a for-profit? I think we need to talk about that. All right. Um, is there other ways that it can be established? Of course it is, but it needs to be strategized. It is a strategy for that. It has to be set up a specific type of way. Okay. Um, with that being said, that is going to conclude our show. Um, and tune in next week where we're going to continue to highlight the opportunities and what you can do to scale your small business. Some of you are stuck. You don't know. This is the what? This is what we in the second quarter, third quarter? No, we're in the second quarter, beginning of the second. We're midway in the second quarter, and you know, I don't know if you are the type of business, or well, not the type of business, the type of person who basically does an audit of your business every quarter so that you know what you were able to accomplish versus what you did not accomplish. Did you grow at all? What are some of the things that you think you need to do? What some of the areas you need to revisit? What, looking at your credit, has your credit improved? Are you a candidate for a small business loan? Are you able to do you know what your elevator pitch is? If you had an opportunity to get on the elevator with a $1 million, I don't know, a company that wanted to invest in your company, could you tell that person what your company does in the middle, in like a 1 minute, less than a minute conversation? That's what I'm trying to say. All these things, it's different things that we can use. How is your social media game? Are you really marketing the way that you're supposed to? Maybe if you're not marketing, what areas can you improve in? All of these things should be revisited every quarter. If you did do some marketing techniques, or whether you use social media, whether you pay for ads, Google ads, YouTube, or however, was it lucrative? Did it produce any new clients? Who is your archetype? Is it specific? Let's see, if it's specific population that you're targeting. Okay. Do you know who that specific population? These are all of the things that you should revisit if you feel that you stuck, and you're like, I don't know, and this is not working, that is not working. Maybe you need to revisit all of these areas if you do not know what to do. Or you can just schedule a consultation with me, and I can help you to figure all of that out, put a plan together. You can go to the website, and if you're going from your phone, there's three little dots up in the top right hand corner of the page. You click those, and I think it's services, and you can schedule a consultation. The consultation is not free. I think it's $50 for 1 hour, but I'm able to help you in that hour to figure out what it is that you need to do. Okay. So with that being said, that is going to no, that's not going to end the show, because I forgot to tell you. Look, I forgot to show you how you can get in touch with us. How can you get in touch with us? Okay, this is how. The website is Make Sense with Your Money. Okay. And we're on every Wednesday, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. All right. Also, this is the handles: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Our handle is Make Sense with Money, not Make Sense with Your Money. Okay. It's Make Sense with Money. So I want to make sure that you know that, and you can find us across these platforms. All right. Our telephone number, you see our telephone number there, and you can call, and if you have any questions, you can just let us know what your questions are, And we'll be happy to, help you or answer your questions or any kind of way that we can. All right. 800-339-4127. You got the website, and also you can watch us, like I said, on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. All right. And with that being said, everybody have a wonderful and a prosperous and a safe week. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate your support.